Welcome back to World Drum Club, everyone. I'm Kalani, your host and teacher, and this is another installment of Community Drumming Facilitation. And today I'm going to talk about an experience that I just had, and I want to ask the question, how important is the music when we're looking at facilitating? Let's say in this case, I want to use the word drum circle or maybe guided interactive drumming or a combination of those things. So drum circle is the improvised, in-the-moment music making, group drumming that's really driven by the participants. And then interactive drumming would be more led, conducted, maybe more shaped by the actual leader or the facilitator. And then we've got some things in between those two things. But I was just at a training, and the thing I want to bring up is this was a training that was done really well. I thought it was presented very nicely, very organized, good information, nicely run. Managing the balance between delivering information, having an agenda, delivering the training information, but also including people's ideas, having some time for people to comment, to contribute, and that's important. But we don't, there's always a balance because you can let. As a training leader, I can attest to the fact that a training can kind of run away from you, if you're not managing all the various personalities that could show up. And if you have a group of 30 people, it can take a lot of time to do just one thing, like answer one question if everybody's commenting and et cetera. So I think you understand what I'm talking about. Now, this training was delivered, like I said, very well. No issues at all with the actual personalities or the information. All the information was solid. Everything I thought was really great. The one thing that struck me, though, and it kind of I realized this after, was there was a lot of talk about how to lead, how to conduct, how to shape the music, how to arrange the music, how to arrange the people, how to do all the procedural things. But I realized after the training, I don't think there was any discussion about the musical skills of the facilitator and the music itself. We were making music, but I don't think there was any discussion about the quality of the music or how to facilitate through the music. This was a conducting-based, facilitator training. And so when I say conducting-based, I mean the facilitator's skill set was oriented towards giving conducting cues, which are verbal and nonverbal, right? So there was like the arm movements, which would be the nonverbal, and then there was the verbal part. So those are the two ways we usually give conducting cues. So there was a lot of focus on that, a lot of focus on kind of arranging with those tools, but never any discussion about how you can affect the music through how you play, which would be musical facilitation skills, right? So to me, one of the goals I have with facilitation, community drumming facilitation, is to help shape the music. Well, first help create a structure through how I'm playing, like providing a steady beat, for example. So we would call that a structuring element, right? Creating a beat, a pulse, and now we have something that we can use as a platform, right, for building, or you can think of it as a container or a playground on which people can enter, right, to which people can enter. And then they build their music on top of that. And then we can shape the music through how we play, right? The volume, the tempo, the rhythms, the spaces we leave or the spaces we fill, the energy, the way we change things dynamically. But that was never discussed. And the question I have for myself, and the question I'd like to put out to you is, how important is that versus, just the conducting part? And if we're just focusing on conducting, what is the quality of the music? How much energy do we want to focus on creating a quality music experience for people Because some people say, well, the music doesn't really matter. It's all about the spirit and the intentions and all that stuff. But if we're doing group drumming, the question I always have is, well, if we're doing group drumming, then it's got to be important, right? Otherwise, there's no point in doing the drumming, right? The sounds and the music and the feeling of the music has got to play a role in this, right? Otherwise, why are we doing it? Why are we using drumming? Let's do something else, because it does take a lot of energy to set up a giant group, to do group drumming. The instruments are heavy and they take up a lot of space. There's a lot of energy in transporting everything and setting this whole thing up. So if we're not going to focus on the music, what are we doing exactly? Or could there be something else that would work better where we don't try to do the music? So, of course, I don't believe that. I believe in the music. I believe in the power of drumming, but I'm asking the question, like, why did we not talk about the actual music and how to facilitate through the music, which, in my opinion, is a less intrusive way, a less heavy-handed way of facilitating. All right. So, what do you think? Where should the focus be if we're going to call it a drum circle, or if we're going to assume that this is a participant-created experience? Right, and our job is to support our participants. What's where should our orientation be? All right, I hope that makes sense. To put it simply, how important is the music to that process? And maybe, what are some considerations that we want to have in terms of when we use musical facilitation as opposed to verbal and nonverbal cueing or conducting. All right, that's something I'm interested in. For a lot of you, maybe it's not interesting or you're not interested in that, or maybe you never thought of that before and now you're thinking about it. So you're welcome. All right, leave your comments below. As always, we appreciate your kind and helpful comments. This is World Drum Club. I'm Kalani Das. This is Community Drumming Facilitation. Thanks for watching.